You're at dinner with friends. Someone orders the $40 steak without even glancing at the price. Someone else casually mentions they just booked a trip to Europe, and you're sitting there doing quiet math in your head, wondering how everyone else seems to have this figured out while you're still checking your account balance before you order an appetizer, and it starts to eat at you a little, like maybe you're behind, maybe everyone else cracked some code you haven't found yet. Here's what nobody tells you. Most of the time, they haven't cracked anything. And in this video, I'm going to show you the actual reason your friends seem richer than you, because it's almost never what people assume. It's not that they earn more, it's not that they're smarter with money, it's something far less obvious. And once you see it, you'll never look at other people's spending the same way again. If you've ever felt behind just by comparing yourself to the people around you, hit subscribe, because this one's going to change how you see money completely. Let's start with the obvious assumption people make, the one that's almost always wrong. When you see someone spending freely, your brain automatically assumes they must have more money than me. That seems logical. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Visible spending and actual wealth are almost completely unrelated. In fact, in many cases, they're inversely related. The people who spend the most visibly are often the ones with the least financial cushion behind the scenes. This isn't speculation. According to data from the Federal Reserve, a significant portion of high earners in the United States report living paycheck to paycheck, meaning even six-figure incomes don't guarantee any actual savings. Meanwhile, some of the most financially secure people you'll ever meet drive older cars, order the cheaper meal, and never once mention how much money they have. Why? Because true financial security doesn't need an audience. Now here's where it gets interesting. There's a term economists use for this exact phenomenon, the wealth illusion. It's the gap between what someone appears to have and what they actually have. And this gap exists because of one simple truth. Spending is visible. Debt is invisible. When your friend shows up in a new car, you see the car. You don't see the 72-month loan behind it. When someone posts vacation photos, you see the beach. You don't see the credit card balance waiting when they get home. This creates a strange social effect where everyone is comparing their real financial situation to everyone else's curated financial appearance. And that comparison is fundamentally unfair because you're comparing your full picture to their highlight reel. Let's look at a concrete example. Imagine two people, both earning $60,000 a year. Person A finances a $45,000 car, eats out 4 times a week, and upgrades their phone every year. On the surface, they look like they're doing great. Person B drives a 5-year-old paid-off car, cooks most meals at home, and quietly puts 15% of their income into retirement accounts. On the surface, person B looks boring, unremarkable, almost like they're not enjoying life. But fast forward 10 years. Person A is likely still financing something, still making payments, still one unexpected expense away from financial stress. Person B has built real equity, real savings, and real freedom. The irony is brutal. The person who looked richer the entire time was actually falling behind, and the person who looked average was quietly winning. So why does this keep happening? Why do we keep assuming visible spending equals wealth? Because of a psychological effect called social signaling. Humans are wired to display status, and for most of human history, visible resources genuinely indicated survival and security. But in the modern world, credit completely broke that signal. Now anyone can appear wealthy temporarily, regardless of their actual financial position, because banks are more than happy to lend money to people who want to look successful. This is why spending has become such an unreliable indicator of wealth. It used to mean something. Now it mostly means someone has access to credit, which is a very different thing. Here's the second reason this illusion is so powerful. Lifestyle creep disguised as normal life. When people get raises, most don't feel richer because their spending quietly rises to match their new income almost immediately. A bigger apartment, a nicer car payment, more frequent takeout. None of it feels like a big decision in the moment. It feels like a series of small, reasonable upgrades. But collectively, those upgrades consume the entire raise, sometimes more. This is why so many people earning significantly more than they used to still feel exactly as financially stressed as before. Their income went up, their sense of financial ease didn't. Which brings us to the actual answer to the question in this video. Your friends don't seem richer because they have more money. They seem richer because they've allocated a larger percentage of their income toward visible spending and a smaller percentage toward invisible financial security. That's it. That's the entire mechanism. It's not usually a mystery. It's not some secret income source. It's a spending allocation difference, dressed up to look like a wealth difference. Now here's the part that actually matters. Once you understand this, you can stop making financial decisions based on comparison, because comparison in this context is comparing yourself to information you don't actually have. You don't know their debt, you don't know their savings, you don't know what's behind the appearance. What you can control is your own allocation. So here's the shift worth making. Instead of asking, why don't I have what they have? Ask, what percentage of my income is going toward things that disappear versus things that build? Meals, subscriptions, upgrades, those disappear. Retirement contributions, emergency funds, investments, those build. Neither is wrong to spend on entirely. Life should still feel enjoyable, but the ratio is what determines your future, not the appearance you maintain today. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Maria. For years, Maria felt like she was falling behind her friend group. Everyone seemed to have nicer apartments, newer cars, better vacations. She started comparing constantly, and it slowly ate at her confidence around money. Then, one night, a close friend admitted quietly that she was drowning in credit card debt, trying to keep up appearances. That conversation changed everything for Maria. She realized she had been comparing her actual bank account to other people's invisible debt. From that point on, she stopped trying to match anyone's visible lifestyle and started focusing entirely on her own numbers. 2 years later, while some of those same friends were still financing their lifestyles, Maria had built a real emergency fund and started investing consistently. She didn't look richer, she was richer, and that distinction is everything. So let's bring this together. The real reason your friends seem richer than you almost never comes down to income. It comes down to where their money is going, visible spending versus invisible security, and how much of their financial picture you're actually seeing versus assuming. The people who look like they have it all figured out are often financing the appearance of having it figured out, and the people quietly building real wealth rarely look like it, because building wealth isn't loud, it isn't flashy, it happens in the numbers nobody else ever sees. So the next time you feel behind because someone else seems to be doing better, remember, you're comparing your full financial reality to their carefully curated exterior, and that comparison was never fair to begin with. If this video changed how you think about comparing yourself to others financially, hit subscribe, because there's more where this came from. And I'm curious, has a friend or family member ever surprised you with how different their real financial situation was from what it looked like? Let me know in the comments, because the truth is, almost nobody's finances look the way they appear from the outside.